Welcome to LivAnimated.com. Let's learn something new. We're going to be talking about career breakdown today. I've been giving this a lot of thought in trying to break down what the best career path could be. So, from an animation perspective, I think it's ideal if you already have the inclination to become an animator or you are an animator already. Um, let's go through how I think we can break down animation and you not allowing yourself to get either jaded or things becoming too stale in your career. You'll get to those moments where it's been 4 years, it's been 5 years. You're like, oh, I should be a senior. I'm senior animator. Now we're talking 10 years, and you're like, man, what am I doing? Should I switch jobs? Am I happy? Do I want to start my own company? Do I want to start my own game? Do you want? Here's some things that will help you kind of keep your sanity um, as an animator. So let's just say we start off with animation. As an animator, just like in a video game, like in a role-playing game where you have skill points, skill trees, and stuff like that, that's how we're going to look at this. So let's look at it like all your points are going into animation. As an animator, the next thing you should learn is how to rig. Now, I'm not saying, switch careers and become like just this crazy rigger where, that's all you do. But what I'm saying is understand rigging. Learn how to rig, learn how to skin a character, learn how to create a facial setup for a character. Learn everything you can so that you can become efficient with now taking a character, rigging a character, and animating a character. That's the beginning of your loop. The next thing you should focus on is understanding and actually, getting your feet wet in some character modeling or just modeling in general. With modeling is going to also come UV layout and UVing and texturing. Learn how to do that. So as your tree starts to grow down, it should be animation, and then it should turn into rigging, and then it should turn into modeling and texturing. So that's one path, starting with animation, that you have those in your back pocket because those all complement animation. When you're talking about working on a small team and wearing multiple hats, you will be one of the most sought after team members because you understand so much and can execute on so much that people will you know people will like kill to have you on their team. Without saying, it also means you need to have a good personality, you need to be humble, you need to know how to take criticism and feedback, and you need to know how to self-critique yourself. But let's just stay focused. So animation, rigging, modeling, and texturing. Now the other side of that coin should be, if you go back to animation, now let's start thinking about engines. What engine do you want to use? Right now, there's only really two choices if you're talking about working at a studio these days, and that's going to be the Unity engine or the Unreal engine. A lot of people still use proprietary engines, or they're trying to still make engines on their own. Back in the day, in the industry, people would try to make their own engine because they knew it was like the gold rush. If you have an engine and you make a game with it, and that game is successful and popular, people will want to buy your engine or lease your engine or license your engine so they can make a game with your engine, and then you become support. And now that's just another avenue or another revenue source for your company because it's your engine. But it's a little terrifying now because with companies that aren't established that are trying to do that, they're pretty much stabbing themselves in the back because not only are they trying to make a game, but they're trying to make an engine when they could have just made their game and used one of the engines that's available and then became successful and then made a lot of money and then had that goal of making their own engine with whatever proceeds or revenue they have from that game, and then in tandem make another game while they're working on the engine, as opposed to trying to do everything at once right off the bat. That's a recipe for disaster. I've been in companies that have tried to do that. Recipe for disaster completely. But in regards to animation, if you start with animation, I feel that you'll be so well-rounded in this industry to be able to support a team and get your ideas that you have on your own time completed, and you'll feel so much more fulfilled. A lot of times when people are like, "Oh, I'm just animation, I'm just animation, I'm just animation," and they do not understand rigging, they do not understand joint layout and how to create in that regard, a lot's going to be lost. I mean, you're going to get to a certain point where you plateau in your career, and there's always going to be someone better, and you're going to be frustrated. You're going to not understand, why am I not on the team? Why did I not get the job? Why not do this? Because you've only focused your skill set to be so acute where they can find someone else that can do it. Not only that, they can find someone else that can do it that can do 15 other things efficiently. So you want to keep that in mind as you're growing, to always look at the opportunities that come your way, always try to learn, always be open to learning something new, and executing what you learn, like in your free time, or if you don't have the opportunity at work to do it, to use these new skills, find the time to do it. So we talked about animation. I just want to give you an example of a breakdown in regards to modeling. Now, if you have a passion to become a modeler, by all means, become a modeler. But the way I see the breakdown from experience and working with people who are modelers, modeling has become such a huge thing that it will take up all your time trying to be a great modeler and be efficient modeler. A lot of the modelers, they are only modelers. I'm not talking about, do they have design ideas? Do they have this and that? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the work that you do. It's mostly all modeling. And because, currently all models are like, you got to use Substance, you got to use ZBrush. Some people still use Modo, you're going to use Maya. There's so many tools that you need to use in order to be efficient as a modeler, as far as quality, as far as speed, even though now it takes a long time to get models done. I think on average it takes like a month, like 4 weeks to get a model done. And so you'll start to see modeling teams are huge, or people just outsource stuff, and you have companies that focus on modeling. So that's kind of where that's going. Unless you're a huge studio and you just have teams dedicated to modeling, then each person is still putting out a certain amount of work, which is usually going to take a month to get it done, because they're going to do the high poly, which is the ZBrush version of the model, and then they're going to get all their normals, textures, emissives, all the maps they need from that. And then they're going to build their low poly model and then use those maps from the high poly onto the low poly. Now, back in the day, with modeling, you did everything in your program, either 3D Studio Max or Maya, or Lightwave, or Blender. You did everything in that program, because there weren't any other third-party type programs to make things efficient or to help you get to your end goal faster or of a higher quality that you couldn't get out of that 3D program out the box. But now, if you do modeling, like if you want to be efficient with modeling and you're really trying to be top tier, you're going to just be focused on modeling. You're not going to have time to go the other way of going like, oh, well, I'm a great modeler. I want to do rigging. I want to do animation. I want to do it. They don't really complement modeling in that way. I think the thing with modeling that I've seen a lot of people go from modeling to doing effects work, right? Because that plays over into what your skill set already is. And then on the other side of that coin, you can go from modeling to working with assets in an engine. So there's your kind of loop that you have. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to be able to try to learn those things. I'm just saying the efficiency of learning things that complement your main goal is what's important. So I am not knocking modelers. I have a high respect for people that are really good at that skill, because it's amazing what it's turned into and the things you need to know now to be efficient with it. But what I'm saying is my channel is dedicated to animation, and what I'm trying to get across is that if you start in animation, you have a lot of opportunity to educate and learn things that complement animation, that will make you a better animator, because you'll understand anatomy better from doing the rigging part and understanding where pivots and joints go, so that you can efficiently make a rig sometimes under a limited bone count. You won't be able to use the desired amount of bones to make the character come to life, or to get the details you want in there. But using a smaller set and understanding what you're doing, you'll be able to still make something that you can turn into something amazing once you animate it. So yeah, so that's my take on the career path. I don't think I've heard anyone explain it in that way, in that detail before. But I've been thinking about it since developing my channel, and I really wanted to focus on making that information available so that people going into animation can really see just how much area there is to grow, and how much room there is to really spread yourself out, and take yourself as far as you want to go with animation, but then know that there's other things that you can do to complement your animation background that will make you a stronger animator and make you a more ideal candidate when going on interviews, and understanding so many more ways of development that's in this industry, that people will just go, man, and they're going to know you took it upon yourself to do it on your own once you're able to speak about it. So yeah, so there it is. There's career path. I'm going to have links in the description below of where you can find more information. And please contact me if you have any questions, or if you want to speak more in depth about career paths, how I can help you out with that. I hope you learned something new. Thanks.